here, I'm gonna do that too before I do it.
We'll start this now. I sucked in too much weed killer.
All right, 7 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. There'll be no public hearing tonight. The attorneys who were sending us all the information sent us the wrong information. And so we have to do everything all over again, set a public hearing, publish it, do all that again because they sent us the wrong paperwork. We have the right paperwork now, so we'll do that again. So we won't have a public hearing. We're just going to go right into the regular meeting. DeWild.
Here.
Chisholm.
President.
President?
Y'all be doing it.
Thompson.
Over there.
Bryant. He's not here tonight. Absent. Mitchell.
Here.
All right. All present and accounted for except for Bryant and Sparrow. All right. First thing on the agenda is the consent agenda. Any questions about that? Or I know sometimes that we look down these and see some of these large, like the Ridge French Rented for 4179. That comes from our grant and our loan. That really doesn't come out of our regular checking account. I'm going to entertain a motion concerning the consent
I'll
agenda.
make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
All right, we have 3 ayes.
May I read something, please?
Sure.
I requested some information from Mark Toom, who came down and visited with us about some problems we had. Talking about the fiduciary responsibilities of councilmen. And while this is quite lengthy, I will not read it here and take up our time, but they talk about monthly reports. One way to monitor the financial status of the community is through the use of monthly reports. The clerk's report or financial officer should present monthly reports to the council. One of the reports, commonly called the treasurer's report, indicates cash balances and investment by fund type, general road use tax, water, sewer, etc. The other important monthly report is a budget report. The budget report will summarize the revenue and expense activity of the previous month and include year-to-date comparisons with the adopted budget, and there it goes on. And that's why I have not been voting for the consent agenda. If any of these other councilmen would like to have a copy of this, I will more than gladly present it to them.
I'm guessing that probably by next month we will be having all those reports and we got everything transferred into the new accounting system. And that will be easier to keep up to date with. Motion carries. Now we need, since we have to start all over again, the resolution to authorize a public hearing for September 12th at 7 o'clock. This is resolution number 16.8.8.1. This is the resolution, so I don't need to read that whole thing.
It's just to fix a date at the top.
Resolution to fix a date for a public hearing on sewer revenue improvement and refunding loan disbursement agreements, principal amount not to exceed $350,000. Then it goes on and it has a bunch of whereases concerning the loan we took out in February 22, 2013, and the bonds, and then the ones in 2015, and those bonds, and what they're going to do as far as refinancing those. And so I need a motion that we set a hearing on resolution 16.8.8.1 for September the 12th at 7 p.m. That's all I got this.
I have a question,
Okay.
and I'm hoping you can explain it.
All right.
I'm sorry. Because I want to make sure if we're doing this, we're doing it right. Because it says, and I think maybe it has to do with the grant before that was up to $350,000. But the amount that we're securing is actually more than $350,000 by like $9,000. So if we state this in the hearing as $350,000, I thought it was supposed to be higher so that it can be, not be a problem.
If you
if
read
it's
through all
wrong.
this paperwork, it actually comes down to about $307,000 if you're going to, up to basically what's going to happen is they're going to buy back the bonds that were already issued.
Right, I
And they're
understand
going to
that.
reissue them again, and so some of those have already received money, so it's going to be less than what the initial amount was.
Okay.
And this is why they sent this, because they updated everything in here to be, so it would be exactly what it was supposed to be. Because we don't need the extra $9,000, because some of them already been paid since 2013.
No? Okay.
I mean, they
So this is
received,
what,
they received payments, so that's why it's not.
because of our payments that
Right.
came in there. Okay, I'm following now, but is this where, because I know when I talked to her earlier, she said our agenda is wrong. Is that the part that's wrong, was the amount?
No, the amount was a date.
No, there's two accounts, and they got them switched up into their paperwork. There was like she explained to Jessica, there was two accounts, but they just got it mixed up in the paperwork, so they had to straighten that out in their paperwork and send it to us, because we were voting. They took like, how she explained, they took like this loan here and this loan here, but somehow they had switched them.
Okay,
So in their paperwork, and they just caught that, and then she copied it, and then she sent it this afternoon, they had to switch it back to where they had the correct account numbers on it.
okay. I understand what you're saying, and I'm looking at the numbers, and the numbers make sense, because I've already talked to them about that. My concern is what the resolution says is different than,
This isn't the resolution, we're doing this one here.
This is just a
Remember when
resolution
you
to
do
set
new
the date.
paperwork.
This is just to
This
set
is
the
set the
date.
date for the public
This ain't the
hearing.
resolution that they talk about in here, but they said we didn't have to change the wording in the agenda because we wasn't approving a loan and we wasn't,
okay.
we're just setting a hearing date.
Okay,
And that's the resolution that we're doing tonight. It's not the resolution that we'll be voting on
In
September 12th. This is just a resolution to set the new hearing date
Okay.
because we had to have it all
I
redone.
understand that. Here's my problem. And I know this is the final amount, and is that why it's okay, because this is the final amount, and this number is not gonna be considered anymore? Because when we read about our resolution and what we're doing, it says not to exceed $350,000, but currently, without the payment, I mean, we have the payment now, and she said it's been applied, and this will be the new number,
Mhm.
but is that why this is okay? I just wanna understand before I agree to
Right.
this.
The way I get it, that's what it says, not to exceed that.
Okay,
But
But your resolution exceeded it.
Not the new one.
not the
not the
new
new one
The-
going on,
the-
but
That
I just wanna
resolution
make
is
sure
on the
this is
agenda, has
being
nothing to do with it, it's
posted.
going to be a completely different resolution.
Because before, this is what we had on our paperwork, and this
Right.
is what we had before submitted to us, and that's why I'm just concerned, is because I don't want anything to be wrong if that's,
Right.
That's what, that one
This
that's
will
on
be
that
different
line is not.
Come next time. This is why they had to change it all.
and they
We
said
had
it's
to-
okay that even though
Yes.
this is not, okay, that's what I wanna make sure, because,
They caught that mistake this morning.
okay.
They call.
And then, like I said, then you called, and then they called me, and I come up here and we talked through it.
Okay, I just wanna be sure, because there's a lot of things to make sure.
Who caught the mistake?
Sure it wasn't this afternoon.
The enforcement committee caught the
Enforcement
mistake.
The lawyers.
I talked to him on Friday, and they called this morning. I talked to him because they couldn't get a hold of Roberta too, so that's why I wanted to make sure that everything is,
They called Roberta at home because she said, I
Right.
just realized that we made a mistake, so you can't do that tonight.
so I just want to make sure that our paperwork is correct for what they're saying is supposed to be happening.
And the new stuff you read through is different than the old stuff, as you read through.
And we'll have time, we'll get it all straight. This is like here, basically,
Well, I
just this
thought-
resolution
so I
we're
had
doing now
to
is just a
have it
second
ready,
hearing.
but it made me, because when she already told me that we didn't have to change the agenda, but since this didn't change and the agenda is different, that's why I'm asking. is
She just meant the resolution that was already, we were talking about it, and they just said that we didn't have to put that on the agenda
Okay,
as just setting a hearing date because it's already there as a resolution.
okay. And I know she said since the account was, number was higher,
Right.
okay. You guys are sure?
Bill, I got
Okay.
a question.
Yes?
Are we being billed by the attorney for filling out the wrong claim?
No, they mentioned that to us also, that, no. It's their mistake, so
I just want to make sure our resolution was stated right, that's all. Yes.
Our resolution is 16.8.8.1. To fix a date for the public hearing revenue refinancing, and that's going to be on September the 12th at 7 o'clock. Do I have I need a motion to accept that or set that hearing?
I'll make a motion to set that hearing.
Bill Mitchell moves and
I'll second it.
Donna Thompson seconds. Now we're going to vote on this twice. We're going to go aye and nay, and then we're going to do a roll call. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. DeWild,
Aye.
Chisholm,
Aye.
Thompson,
Aye.
McFerrin, absent. Mitchell,
Aye.
4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. So that hearing will be September 12th at 7 p.m. All right, moving along to the mayor's report. I guess the one thing, I'm not going to start naming names and stuff, but the people that pitched in and made Redbrier a success. Heard lots of good comments from the vendors, from the bike riders, from the hangers-oners, all those people that didn't ride bike, just sat in chairs in the shade and talked, commented about how well things went, and the only biggest problem that we had was we ran out of toilet paper in the porta potties. And we cleaned out City Hall. When I went down to my house, we had a 24 roll, we cleaned out of that, and then after that, it was just bringing in accidents or cleanups or something. Had somebody fall and get hurt out on the railroad tracks, and we had somebody fall after they rode over the bridge and hit their head and got hurt. But for the most part, it went well, and the people that worked hard to get it cleaned and set up, and everything went well, and then the people that went around and picked up during and after. I won't mention everybody's name, because one of them told me if I mentioned his name again, that he'd sue me for defamation of character, so I'm not mentioning his name ever. But I want to say thank you, because it was a lot of work for a short period of time, but I think most of our vendors, local vendors, the Historical Society and the church and the others, the Methodist Church down here, and everybody did well. Some of them could have done better if they'd have had more food. I know the Lions Club, they ran out of spaghetti for spaghetti dinner. And they had bananas and drinks left, and I got the bananas sold to one of the vendors, so they didn't have any bananas left. But thank you, it was, it went well. Now, I don't want them to come through again next year, but they can come back in 8 or 9 years away. Yes.
Bill, I just want to make a comment. I know you don't want to mention names, but I want to say, you personally put in a lot of hours. I've seen you working, and our mayor put in a lot of hours on that. And also, I think we need a big thanks to the fire department. Man, they came forward and cleaned them streets and spent, I know, at least a couple days on them streets. And the streets looked nice before, and them bikers need to be complimented. They look pretty darn clean afterwards. And I just like the way they are, and I hope they can stay that way.
Yeah, the Blakesburg Community Fire Board, they came through in a big way and helped out, not just before, but during and after, so I appreciate it. Roberta did quite a little bit of work getting it all set up, and then she went on vacation during it, so that's another story.
Yeah, it's very smart. My vacation was planned before Ragbri, so.
The only other thing is that it's been brought to my attention that I didn't get the agenda changed for the special meeting, the public hearing in time, and so I printed off. Whenever you create a document in Word, Microsoft Word, or you edit a document, it gives you the time. So on August the 8th at 1:53, August 7th at 1:53 p.m., I changed that document and put it on the window before 2 o'clock. So someone saw me come out of the office this morning, and I did. If you come back at 2 o'clock, you'd see me come out again, but no, we changed it. yesterday at 1:53. That's all I have for my report. G, the authorizing the approving the loan disbursement, we need to have a motion to table that until next month.
I'll make a motion to table the loan disbursement until next month.
Is there a second?
I will second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. I mean, say nay. None opposed, 4 ayes, 1 absent. Corn Carnival request. Give us the good news, Tracy.
Okay. Do I have to come up there?
No, you can stay right there.
Alright, so, Bill asked me to come here. We are having a carnival this year now. We did find one and he offered to come down and stuff, so we have that going on. So I was needing some streets closed, which is usually the normal ones. State Street to, let's see, State Street, Main to Franklin on Wednesday night. Down here,
What would-
because the carnival will be coming in. Wednesday or Thursday morning, the carnival will be coming in.
Okay.
Is that a problem?
Well, that's when we've normally done. Now, those streets, State and Main, I have to take that request to the sheriff because he gets to approve that.
Okay,
But I don't think there's going to be a problem because he's already asked me about what we were going to do and when it was going to be.
well, it's just it's just the corner
Right.
of Main down to Franklin. I need that closed off. And then, I need the intersection of High and Cass
For
for the
the
weekend.
for the clock, for the car show and stuff.
Yes. And then I need, High Street closed to Hickory for Saturday only, which will be the car show.
Right.
And then it can move up to the church,
Once
the Methodist church.
Because once the cars are gone, we take
Mhm.
we open that up.
Yes. And then,
And I think we've already approved that earlier.
okay,
Yes.
I was just
Yeah.
making sure. And
Yeah.
then I also need Main Street and closed to Cass for the kitty parade, just a little bit on Friday.
On Friday, and then for the parade on Saturday.
I need the parade on Saturday and Renee's kids games, so until like 11 to 3.
Okay. That's what I got written down, I told him I'd get that done with him.
I'm gonna have them down.
Okay.
Okay, and then, High Street behind the post office. The post office, right behind the post office building like it normally is.
Right.
Yeah, partway
So they
down.
can- So they can set something up in the intersection.
Mhm.
And what about the street dance?
Is that for the kiddie parade or is that?
That's for, I'm gonna have a ride there.
Okay.
That's just like on,
Okay, I know. what
Friday
that
and
is,
Saturday.
yeah.
yeah, like it usually is. And then I was wanting to have the street dance over here at City Hall in the parking lot. In the middle of the rides and that stuff from like 7 to 11.
So we've already voted to close those other streets, and I talked with the sheriff about the others, which we will I'll confirm that with him. So what we need to do is approve the use of the parking lot for the street dances. That's Friday night, Saturday night, Friday.
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Yes. And then I'm gonna use the street out here on Saturday for the kiddie tractor pull and the bathtub races.
Right.
But I wanted the Shriners are coming in with their sound system, and the money they get, they donate back to the children. So
Okay.
I was just wanting the children here in the middle of the carnival and everything, so.
Okay. Everybody understand that? Yeah.
Just trying to remember, it seemed like last year there was a little bit of trouble with alley being blocked, but we aren't gonna have any alleys blocked or anything, are we, by the carnival or anything?
Well, there'll be the one by.
The street, I mean, the street will be closed, but the alleys. will
The
be-
alleys won't be blocked, no.
And we'll make sure, I'll talk
You have
to
to
the
make
sheriff
that open
exactly, to
for
make sure that that alley that runs from the C-store all the way down to Oak, that is Oak, right? Do you know the one? That's left open.
Yes.
That's an emergency, that is nothing to do, that's an emergency vehicle during that time, so we need to make sure those stay open all the way through there.
Bill,
Yeah.
on the post office, last year, they just had a parking closed off, and people come in from Polk Street up to the post office to the back to park near the there. That's the same way.
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Basically,
Just put them
Yeah.
right in the front park,
Mhm.
across from the city building here,
Yeah,
and,
I don't need very much behind the post office.
I'm sorry.
Franklin.
Is that normally where it is?
No, normally it's Mill Street.
Mill.
Franklin's Buddy Allison's road. Usually it closes off.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's Mill
Yeah,
Street.
Mill Street. Franklin.
Yeah, it's Mill Street, sorry.
Okay, that makes more
Yeah.
sense.
You're going
I
right
was
to the
thinking
bridge.
that.
And I'm like, well, I kind of looked on Google.
Yeah, we're talking about just this first block.
Yeah.
The old
Just as
Van
normal.
Cleve Hall.
Yes. So, and then, do I need permission to set porta potties wherever? Can I set porta potties and dumpsters wherever I want, or?
Well, I know we said them before. Didn't we have some in the alley here?
I'm just asking because I don't know.
They were in the alley by the bandstand
And over
before.
here.
Yeah.
Right, because that's where they, sort of where we had the dumpster for Ragbri in that area there, that we left that alley open, but that's where they were there.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was okay.
Whoever you're getting to that, make sure they leave you enough toilet paper, okay?
Yeah, their contract is service them every day, so,
Good.
and, yeah, and then, of course, the carnies will have a couple of trailers that will be over here like normal.
Okay.
And then the bar is opening up their shower house for them, so.
That's nice. So I would need a motion to approve the use of this section of the City Hall parking lot for the dance on Saturday evening.
How can you vote on that if it's not on the agenda?
Corn Carnival request.
Oh, is it a new agenda?
It's
Or the revised
It's the
agenda?
one we publicly put up on yesterday afternoon,
Okay.
1:53.
Okay.
That's why we revised it, aiming for that, to get that on there. Oh, okay.
I make a motion to approve the use of the parking lot.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Hearing none, the motion carries. All right, next thing on the agenda is to approve a burn permit for the fire department to burn Hickory Street property. And I think you've already started with the DNR permit and that kind of stuff, didn't you? Okay, so that's, we don't know when that's going to be, but whenever that comes
Yeah, we
through.
get one burn a year with asbestos and everything, and one non, we have to pull everything out afterwards. So, yeah, we don't normally do this. This will probably be the one I want to do for a while.
We hope so. Well, there are a couple areas, other properties I have in mind that you might want to
That's
practice
what
on.
I'm saying. We might start in on another one. Cleanup.
So, we have to approve this since it's out of the normal days. And, so I need a motion to approve the fire department and the burning of the property on the Hickory Street volleyball field.
I will make the motion to, where we're burning out a normal burn period,
Yes.
burn the derelict house on Hickory,
All right.
that belongs to the city.
I want to second that.
Okay, Donna's going to second that.
As long as weather permits.
Well, they won't do it. They're going to wait for a high wind blowing south.
I wanted a thunderstorm.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same, nay. Hearing none, motion carries 4 ayes, 1 absent. Next thing on the agenda is the City Hall hours. Roberta has, when she didn't have anything else to do, she's going to be working part-time at, full-time at the Moravia School, Molten Udell School in the mornings, and we'd like to change the City Hall hour from 2:30 to 5 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Now, if we need to be open sometime during the mornings, a couple of mornings I could come up here and open it up, but that would be the regular hours that we would be open. Any discussion, any thoughts?
I would like to propose that we get a deputy clerk, because if somebody works night shift, they possibly couldn't come before 2.
It's possible, yes, right. I mean, it's, we can look at that, or having somebody here one day a week in the mornings or something like that.
Well, if they could call, and you said you can come up, I'm wondering if it'd be necessary to hire somebody at this time. I think we could probably try it and
They
see
can
how it
call
goes.
you on Wednesdays.
You better get it on the schedule a week before.
Yeah, but we could, you know, we put it on the door, that if someone has an issue that they need something taken care of, to give me a call, and I can come up, or Donna's not going yet, she can. So, but yeah, let's, and then it gets to the point that we really need to have somebody a couple days a week in the morning, we'll work on that, okay?
What about going to town? Is that coming out of this 2 to 5?
Do it
What?
on the bank?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll have a lot of days where they don't have school, like there's almost every Friday of the month, school's letting out an hour early, so I can be here at 2. Or I'll come and do the bank and then open up at 2:30.
Are we gonna get some kind of sign back on the door so people
Yeah,
know what
we'll
we're
get one
doing?
that won't come off, or we'll write it in.
The other one's one of those elastic, electricity ones, and it didn't work too well, it
Ah.
just kept falling off.
Yeah, we'll do that. And when is this going to start? When is it?
School starts the 23rd.
23rd, so. You got your August, you spend your life in the wrong month.
Oh, well, I know. Well, this month I get over.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
So that'll be starting on August the 24th. And we will post that.
I'll know more once I get started.
Okay.
Well, I'll be honest, there've been, and as part of my job, a lot of people have come to me over the last year and with concerns about getting in. And it's not always just pay your water bill, there's complaints, burn permits, there's a lot of things. And I think we should be trying to do whatever we can to encourage people to come and take care of their business here. That's what our business is.
Right, and a lot of them too need to understand that your clerk is only 30 hours a week. It's not a 40-hour,
Yeah, I
Monday
think-
through Friday, 8 to 4 job, and that's what a lot of people want. The city doesn't allow that, it's 30
I
hours.
understand, but we weren't doing our 16 hours regularly.
Well, it's hard when you've got so much stuff that you have to do and stuff you have to take your time. You know, my time at home is precious too,
I understand,
so.
but it's part of the job.
Um,
Yes.
I'm gonna say, on my thoughts on, because I know in the beginning when Roberta was hired for this position, I was concerned because of the days and the time, the shifts that she had, but in coming in and being up here when she's been working, hardly anybody has ever come in those doors. And so to me, I think we should just try it, like you guys told me when I put up a fight in the beginning, and see how it goes, and if it needs to be adjusted, then we should maybe adjust it at that time.
You know, I've sat up here on more than one occasion for 5 or 6 hours.
Well, I'm sure you can go days at a time, but
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you do need service, they
And
need
I-
service.
Well, we do have an answer machine too. They
We'll-
can also leave a message, and there's always complaint forms. Of course, I need to read, you know, if they want complaint forms, they're always on top of the box. And people have known that that's what the complaint forms
I
are.
didn't know this right here. Oh, boy. Gonna have some fun with you now.
We'll try for long, and if we get to the point we think we need to have somebody, and we'll put a number on the door that people can call if they need something right now.
I'll make a motion to change the city clerk's hours to 2:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, starting approximately the 23rd.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries, 4 ayes, 1 absent. Any old business?
I'd like to talk about the Huber House down on 310 Hickory.
Okay,
I know there are people wanting that for parking lot. That is a solid, well-built house, built in 1938. It's probably built better than
most of the house.
houses built today. And I called, let me get my brains out here.
The garage is definitely built better than any garage in town.
I called the local county treasurer today. The gross taxes on that property are $808 a year. Of course, homestead exemption will reduce that by $170. I think the financial condition of this city, we need to really look at that house as something to sell, to generate money. It will be paying property tax. You will have sewer and water fees coming in. Hopefully it'll be occupied and those will be following. That house was built a long time ago, but those Hubers were craftsmen. They were masons and carpenters, and they knew how to build stuff. Some of these big houses that are here in town, they built. And I think it's almost criminal to think about hauling that house and garage to the dump. We have adjacent land that would be, somebody could talk to, see if they would lease for parking. I'm not against parking. I just can't see tearing down a structurally sound. I envy them. We don't have dry basements over on Polk Street. We've got a string of people with wet basements. And if they need some parking, let's see if we can talk to somebody and maybe get a lease. There's open land there that it's not going to affect the tax base. We've got to be careful what we're doing here. This town is shrinking, and if we don't watch our P's and Q's, we're going to be in trouble. And I'm ultra conservative. I apologize for that. But I do think I have a little bit of business background behind me. And while I'm on my high horse, I went down to the courthouse and we'll make copies if anybody wants, and I'll try to get a copy for you folks here in the office. There is an easement already across the north property, east of the garage, 25 feet. So that part, there is access to get back to the back lot.
I did get a chance to talk to you, Bob. I know you weren't there. But I've talked to the rest of them, and we're going to sell the house. It's too good to not sell. And if we take out the square foot, the lot that we're going to take out, that will still leave them plenty of room for a ball field and parking. We can allow them to develop the rest of that, which we will continue to own. There'll be plenty of room. But the front steps look bad, but the rest of the house inside and the basement is, I'm surprised, and the garage. So I don't think we had someone talk about it last week, and that came up. But I think that there'll be plenty of property there for the ball field to develop and use as we can allow them to use as they want to develop. But I think we're going to, it'd be a shame to tear that house down.
I think you brought up some really good points too, that, need to be considered about the taxes and the water bills and everything, so I think that's really positive.
That house is assessed at $41,000, and I realize it's small, but that'd be one of the worst things we ever did if we hauled that to the dump.
Yeah, there are a few others I'd like to haul it down, but that's not, I don't think that will.
It'd be a shame to tear down a structurally sound house that we can get some money out of and not be an expense to.
I think we already voted to go ahead and sell it, and I haven't heard anything that makes us want to take that back. So I'll get off my high horse. All right, is there any new business? Oh, a hand, I said that hand.
The house doesn't have to have water or sewer hooked to it?
It has city sewer. It doesn't have city water. But it will.
And that's going to be a requirement.
That would be a requirement to hook up to city. The city water's only about 15 feet away. When they ran water back to the other house, she didn't want to pay to have it hooked onto that house. So that will be a requirement that whoever buys will have to hook up to city water. So, but they're already on city sewer. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a lot easier and cheaper to do it then when they already had the ditch dug. So, okay. So, any other new business? Or any new business? And I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Hang on to the line. This is.